My name is Maria Sanchez, and I'm a student of American literature. This is the story of my life and how I learned English. It all started on a beautiful summer day. I was traveling on a train from my hometown of Valencia to Madrid. The sun was shining, and the air was warm and filled with the scent of blooming flowers. As I found my seat, I noticed two women sitting opposite me. They were engrossed in a conversation, speaking English fluently. Their words flowed effortlessly, and I felt a pang of envy. I had been studying English for a while, but I was still a beginner and struggled to understand them. Summoning all my courage, I decided to speak to them. "Hello," I said in halting English. "I am Maria. I want to learn English." The women smiled warmly. One of them introduced herself as Emily and the other as Sarah. They were from New York and had just attended a conference in Madrid. They were friendly and patient, helping me with words I didn't know. Our conversation lasted for about 10 minutes, and I felt a small sense of accomplishment. Before I got off the train at my station, they gave me their contact details and invited me to visit them in New York. After this encounter, I was determined to improve my English. I dedicated myself to studying every day. I translated texts, watched English films, and practiced speaking whenever I could. In 6 months, my English had improved significantly, but I knew I still had a long way to go. I decided to take a bold step and move to New York to immerse myself in the language and culture. Arriving in New York was both exciting and overwhelming. The city was a whirlwind of activity, and everywhere I turned, I heard English being spoken. I enrolled in a language school and was eager to begin my lessons. My first class was on a Monday. The classroom was bright and filled with students from all over the world. Our teacher, Miss Thompson, was a young, kind woman with a warm smile. She welcomed us and introduced herself. She explained that her teaching method was different from traditional approaches. Instead of relying heavily on textbooks, she encouraged us to use English in our daily lives. "We need languages to communicate," she said. "The best way to learn is by using the language to express your thoughts and feelings. We'll focus on speaking and using English every day." This approach resonated with me. I had always found textbooks confusing and dull, but speaking and using English in practical situations made sense. We spent the lesson talking about our hobbies and interests, and I felt more comfortable speaking English. On Tuesday, a classmate asked Miss Thompson the best way to learn new words. She suggested reading as the most effective method. She advised us to read for at least 30 minutes each day and choose texts that interested us. When encountering unfamiliar words, she recommended looking them up in a dictionary to understand their meanings better. This practice would help us remember the words and how they were used in context. Inspired by her advice, I started reading English books and articles every day. I also decided to look for a part-time job to practice my English further. I visited a job center where a friendly lady suggested I could work as a waitress in a cafe. Although I had no experience, she assured me that my English was good enough for the job and that I could start on Thursday. I was thrilled to have a job where I could practice speaking English with customers. On Wednesday, I returned to school and noticed a quiet student from South Korea. During the lesson, he mentioned struggling with pronunciation. Miss Thompson explained that pronunciation issues often arise because we use our mouth muscles the same way we do in our native language. She introduced us to the shadowing technique, where we mimic the sounds we hear. We practice this technique by watching a video and copying the speaker's pronunciation. I found it challenging but rewarding. After the lesson, I asked Miss Thompson if there were any sports activities at the school. She told me about the football team, and I decided to join. That evening, I attended my first football practice. The team was diverse, with players from Brazil, Japan, Russia, Spain, Argentina, and Italy. It was a great way to make new friends and practice English. I was happy with how my time in New York was unfolding. On Thursday, we had a new student named Isabella from Italy. Miss Thompson asked her some questions, and it turned out Isabella had attended a beginner class the previous year. Her English was now fluent, and she credited her improvement to techniques like reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. Intrigued by the concept of thinking aloud, I asked our teacher to explain it. Miss Thompson said it involves thinking in English and verbalizing those thoughts, which helps improve fluency. Elizabeth shared her experience, explaining how it helped her simplify her thoughts and speak more naturally in English. Her success story motivated me to try this technique. With each passing day, my confidence grew. I practiced English at work, spoke with my classmates, and participated in school activities. The shadowing technique and thinking aloud were particularly helpful. I started to think in English more often and found it easier to express myself. One day, Miss Thompson gave us an assignment to write an essay about our experiences learning English. I wrote about my journey from Valencia to New York, the people I met, and the techniques that helped me improve. When I submitted my essay, Miss Thompson praised my progress and encouraged me to keep practicing. As the weeks turned into months, I continued to explore New York. I visited museums, attended cultural events, and made new friends. My English improved steadily, and I felt more comfortable in my new environment. One of my favorite places was Central Park. I often went there to relax and read English books. The peaceful surroundings made it the perfect place to practice my reading and enjoy the beauty of nature. One day, Miss Thompson announced that we would be giving presentations in class. Each student had to choose a topic and speak for 5 minutes. I decided to talk about my hometown, Valencia, and its rich cultural heritage. I was nervous about speaking in front of the class, but I prepared diligently. I practiced my presentation using the shadowing technique and thinking aloud. On the day of the presentation, I stood in front of the class and began to speak. To my surprise, the words flowed smoothly and I felt confident. My classmates and Miss Thompson applauded my effort, and I felt a sense of accomplishment. After my presentation, a classmate named Jack approached me. He was from Australia and had been studying English for a few years. We started talking and quickly became friends. Jack shared his own experiences and tips for learning English, and we often practiced speaking together. We explored New York together, visiting famous landmarks like the Statue of Liberty in Times Square. Our conversations helped me improve my English further, and I enjoyed learning about Australian culture from Jack. Working at the cafe was a fantastic experience. I interacted with customers daily, which helped me practice English in real-life situations. My colleagues were supportive, and I learned a lot about American culture from them. One evening, a regular customer named Mr. Johnson struck up a conversation with me. He was impressed by my progress and offered to help me with my English. Mr. Johnson was a retired teacher, and he became my mentor. We met once a week to discuss various topics, and he provided valuable feedback on my language skills. Despite my progress, there were times when I felt discouraged. Learning a new language is challenging, and I sometimes struggled with complex grammar rules and idiomatic expressions. However, I reminded myself of how far I had come and the goals I wanted to achieve. Miss Thompson's encouragement and the support of my friends kept me motivated. I continued to practice every day, using the techniques I had learned. Gradually, my English improved, and I felt more confident in my abilities. After a year of hard work, the day of our graduation arrived. Miss Thompson organized a ceremony to celebrate our achievements. Each student gave a short speech, reflecting on their journey and the progress they had made. When it was my turn, I stood before my classmates and spoke from the heart. I talked about my initial struggles, the techniques that helped me, and the support I received from Miss Thompson and my friends. It was an emotional moment, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude. With my improved English skills, I decided to pursue further studies in American literature. I applied to several universities and was accepted into a prestigious program. It was the beginning of a new chapter in my life, filled with exciting opportunities. I continued to stay in touch with Miss Thompson, Jack, and Mr. Johnson. Their guidance and friendship had been instrumental in my journey, and I was grateful for their support. Inspired by my experiences, I decided to share my story with others. I started a blog to document my journey and provide tips for learning English. I wanted to help others who were facing similar challenges and show them that with dedication and the right techniques, they could achieve their goals. My blog gained a following, and I received messages from readers around the world. Sharing my story was fulfilling, and it motivated me to continue improving my English and helping others. My journey of learning English had transformed my life. Not only had I achieved fluency, but I had also gained new friends, experiences, and opportunities. My blog became a platform for sharing my story and helping others, and I continued to learn and grow every day. One day, I received an email from Emily and Sarah, the women I had met on the train to Madrid. They had read my blog and were impressed by my progress. They invited me to visit them in New York, and I eagerly accepted. When I arrived in New York, Emily and Sarah welcomed me with open arms. We spent the weekend exploring the city and catching up on our lives. They were amazed at how much my English had improved, and I was grateful for their encouragement and support. During our time together, we visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art, walked through Central Park, and enjoyed a Broadway show. It was a memorable weekend, and I cherished the time spent with my friends. Back in Valencia, I continued my studies and my work at the cafe. My improved English skills opened new doors for me, and I began to receive offers for teaching English. I decided to take on a part-time teaching job, sharing my knowledge and experiences with others who were learning the language. Teaching English was a rewarding experience. I loved seeing my students make progress and gain confidence in their abilities. It reminded me of my own journey and the support I had received from Miss Thompson, Jack, and Mr. Johnson. As I delved deeper into teaching, I discovered a new passion for helping others learn English. I decided to pursue a career in education and enrolled in a program to become a certified English teacher. The coursework was challenging, but I was determined to succeed. With each passing day, I felt more confident in my teaching abilities. I used the techniques that had helped me, such as shadowing, thinking aloud, and reading extensively. My students responded positively, and I saw their progress as a testament to the effectiveness of these methods. My work as an English teacher allowed me to make a difference in the lives of my students. I saw them overcome their fears and gain confidence in their language skills. It was a rewarding experience, and I felt proud to be part of their journey. One of my students, Anna, struggled with pronunciation and confidence. She reminded me of myself when I first started learning English. I worked with her closely, using the techniques that had helped me. Over time, I saw her improve and become more comfortable speaking English. Her progress was a source of inspiration for me and reaffirmed my passion for teaching. As I looked to the future, I felt excited about the opportunities ahead. My journey of learning English transformed my life in ways I had never imagined. I gained new skills, made lifelong friends, and discovered a passion for teaching. I continued to set new goals for myself, both personally and professionally. I wanted to further improve my English skills, explore new cultures, and expand my horizons. I also aimed to help more students achieve their language goals and share the techniques that had worked for me. Through my blog and teaching, I connected with people from all over the world. I received messages from readers and students who shared their language learning journeys. It was heartwarming to see how my story had inspired others and how we were all part of a global community of learners. One reader from Japan, Hiro, shared his struggles with learning English and how my blog had motivated him to keep going. We started corresponding regularly, exchanging tips and encouragement. It was a reminder of the power of sharing our stories and supporting each other. My experiences have shown me the transformative power of education. Learning a new language had opened doors for me and given me the confidence to pursue my dreams. As a teacher, I aim to provide the same opportunities for my students. I continue to seek new ways to improve my teaching methods and stay updated on the latest trends in language education. I attended conferences, participated in workshops, and collaborated with other educators. It was an ongoing journey of learning and growth, and I was committed to making a positive impact in the field of education. As I reflected on my journey, I celebrated the milestones I had achieved. From a shy student struggling with English to a confident teacher helping others, I had come a long way. Each step of the journey had been filled with challenges and triumphs, and I was proud of my accomplishments. I continued to set new goals for myself and celebrate each achievement along the way. Whether it was mastering a new teaching technique, helping a student overcome a hurdle, or reaching a milestone in my own language learning, I embraced each moment as a part of my journey. As I looked to the future, I knew there would be new challenges to face. Whether it was mastering a new aspect of the English language, helping a struggling student, or navigating the complexities of the education system, I was ready to take on whatever came my way. I continued to seek new opportunities for growth and development. I was committed to lifelong learning and dedicated to making a positive impact in the lives of my students. Each day was an opportunity to learn, grow, and make a difference. My journey had taught me the power of perseverance. There were times when I felt discouraged and doubted my abilities, but I never gave up. I kept pushing forward, knowing that each step brought me closer to my goals. Perseverance had been the key to my success. It has helped me overcome obstacles, achieve my goals, and discover my passion for teaching. I shared this lesson with my students, encouraging them to keep going, no matter how challenging the journey might be. As I continued my journey, I embraced the idea of lifelong learning. I knew that there was always more to learn, new skills to acquire, and new experiences to embrace. Learning was a continuous process, and I was committed to staying curious, open-minded, and dedicated to my personal and professional growth. I continued to seek new opportunities for learning and development, whether it was through formal education, professional development, or personal experiences. I was committed to expanding my knowledge and skills. My journey of learning English has been a journey of fulfillment. It brought me new opportunities, new friendships, and a sense of purpose. I was grateful for the experiences, the challenges, and the triumphs that had shaped my journey. As I looked to the future, I was excited about the possibilities ahead. I knew that my journey was far from over and that there were still many adventures, challenges, and opportunities to come. I was ready to embrace each moment, continue my journey, and make a positive impact on the world.